Hello, hello, hello. Today we are going to learn all about stress. um, as you're kind of coming on the call, go ahead and find the chat. Say hello to me. I am shy, though no one believes it. Hello, Amy, Annika, Elena, Heidi, Jackie, Sam, Rose. That's a beautiful name. I love that. Viviana, William, welcome everybody. Um, Go ahead and hello, Viviana. Go ahead and find the chat and make sure that you set your chat to all panelists and attendees. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Hopefully, you're not stressed out. I was messaging with someone before the call, and they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Super stressed." In preparation for our stress. Hello from Croatia, Annika. My friend Annika from Croatia has an amazing podcast. I'm featured on it. It's coming out in the next 10 days, I think. So you should follow her on Instagram. Annika, feel free to put your link in the chat. Thank you so much. Hello from Zurich. So guys, we have an amazing international group, which I feel like very, very happy to bring you all together and to kind of introduce everybody to each other, because we are a Sangha, we are a community of amazing beings who care about bettering the world. So, oh, Amy, yeah, this morning's practice was amazing. So we have Connecticut in the house, we have Zurich, we have Croatia. Let's see, where is everybody from? We have Miami in the house. Rakesh is tuning in from his work. Rakesh is one of my favorite doctors. He's amazing. So let's see, we have Viviana in Peru. Davos, Switzerland. Oh my God, it's so pretty there. I once took a vacation there. I rented this beautiful house on the side of a hill in Davos. I love it. Wow, it's cold though. Heidi from Denmark. I have not yet been to Denmark. Wow. Welcome. Elena, I'm in as soon as they'll let me fly. People like me, they don't let them fly anymore. All right. All right, guys. So I'm gonna chit chat for a little bit, and then I'm gonna dive right in. So, Heidi from Denmark, you know her, Annika. So, guys, today I want to talk about stress, and I'm gonna spend a bit of time first articulating what stress is, because if we don't have a clear definition of something, it's really hard to do anything about it. So, can you guys go ahead in the chat and tell me, what's your experience of stress? Have you ever been stressed out before? Anyone never been stressed? Annika's like, yeah, yeah. We've all been really stressed, but when you're stressed out, you have this feeling maybe of like a high blood pressure, maybe your heart becomes uneven, you feel like you're out of sync with the world around you. You have like this sensation, and we label it stress, but I really want to define this. So, what do you think stress is? Does anyone have a definition of stress that you can tell me? How would you define stress? What is it? What is this thing we call stress? Tension, extreme mental exhaustion, open cycles. Viviana, you're reading my notes. Heidi says too much in too little time. That's exactly it. Too much in too little time. What else? What else? Tell me about stress. What do you know about stress? How would you define it? If you were like, you have to tell a 4-year-old who probably has not had a really great experience of stress yet, but maybe, how would you describe it to a 4-year-old, to a 6-year-old? What's stress? Annika says, you are not feeling well at all. Yeah, stress sucks. In so many ways, it sucks the life out of you, and it sucks to experience. Jacqueline says, stress can be a motivator. However, I experience sleepless nights, breakouts, tummy cramps, etc. Who's experienced side effects from stress? This is exactly it. I'm going to tell you about my personal experience with stress so that you know how important this topic is to me. Yeah, side effects. You get physical debilitations, pain in the neck, migraines. Okay, so now we have tummy distortions. You can gain weight, you can lose weight, you can lose your hair. I lost hair from stress. What else? What other physiological side effects do we know about? Passing out in planes. That's a new one. I have a remedy for that. Write to me personally if it's an ongoing thing. Acne. Yes, acne, rosacea, a lot of skin conditions, rashes. You can develop rashes that are just from stress. Anyone ever had a stress rash? Yeah. So you can see your skin will go through all kinds of changes. Now, your skin is the largest organ in your body, and I love working a lot with skincare because it's an organ we can kind of touch, massage, soak in something. You can't really do that so much with your liver or other organs. So it's the skin is like a really good gateway, not just for you to detox things from the outside in, but also for you to make actions to create a healing. Melissa says water bumps. Anyone ever had water blisters from stress? Stomach pain, that's correct, exactly. All right. Yeah, so in my 20s, my loves, I've been a yogi for my lifetime since childhood, but in my 20s, I'm going to tell you about my experience with stress because this is why you will know that this is, hello, Katya, I'm so happy to see you, my love. So you will know how important this subject actually is to me. So when I was in my 20s, I started to develop some crazy symptoms. First off, I'm not someone who gets headaches unless I'm dehydrated, then a dehydration headache, but I'm not prone to migraines or headaches. And in my 20s, it was 29, I started to get a sensation like an ice pick being stabbed into my head every 30 seconds, like extreme pain. And it would cause my system to shake. What do you do? So I started taking ibuprofen. I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't have health insurance at the time. I tried all the holistic things. I felt like I didn't know what was going on, and then it got better. It got better in a worse way. I developed something called double vision. Double vision meant that everything I would see would be crossed. It would begin about an hour after I woke up and last the entire day. Now, at this time in my life, I was running 3 companies. I lived in Las Vegas. I had a music production company. I had a model management company. And then I had my own music business. And what started happening, first I got the stabbing pain, which lasted all day. It was debilitating. But what do? Nothing worked. And then I got the double vision. And I thought, I applied for health insurance. I live in America, so it's a beautiful system. I applied for health insurance, and I had complete double vision. I would drive with one hand I actually bought an eye patch because I had to cover one eye. I would go to my meetings, which were oftentimes touring these big venues we were going to have events at, and told my business partner what's happening, so I would have to touch their elbow to be able to walk through a space because you can't tell people that these things are happening. So my health insurance came in on August 1st, and I'll never forget this. That exact day, I went to a neurologist, and the neurologist took one look at me, and he said, "You are having a stroke, go to the ER." I said, "I don't think so. I just slept funny and I have pillow face," because I went like literally right in the morning. And he was convinced with all of the other symptoms that I'm having a stroke. So I go to the emergency room and they test my double vision. They're like, "You have 20/10 vision, yet it's crossed." And I was extremely lucky to have a really good doctor. They kept me overnight. They ran a bunch of tests. It was rather expensive. They did a CAT scan, all of this. And after doing all the tests, the doctor comes in and he says, "You are really stressed, and that's all it is." And I said, "What? Stress? I'm meditating, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing everything right." And I took a major pause and I changed the entire, hello Gustavo, great to see you. I changed the entire course of my life after this. I literally quit all of my jobs and moved to Miami and started teaching yoga. And it was as soon as that was acknowledged, it already started to feel better. And then I began to look at my life and say, oh, wait a second, how am I stressed? What's going on? And I spent the next several years learning about what is stress and what to do about it, because I took this very seriously. I mean, here I had double vision, stabbing headaches. They moved along. First they started here, they moved all here, and then on the other side, it was just stress. So I want to acknowledge that of all things in your life that can cause you an issue, stress is one of the most phenomenal. So we want to have, first we want to have a really good understanding of what it is, which will be the first part of this workshop. And the second part, I'm going to show you what to do about it, because I'm not stressed anymore. I am like the least stressed out person, and I run 2 companies. So I have every opportunity to freak out and be stressed, but I don't. Yeah, so thank you, Annika. Annika says, I love that. It's very important that as a spiritual teacher, I am honest with you. I'm honest about my own experiences so that you know that the things I'm giving you come from a place of, listen, I've been through it. And stress is one that took me out. I was so surprised. I felt like such a failure because I'm doing all the things that you think are right, but I had missed the understanding of it. Now, there is a excellent book that I recommend that if you're interested in this, that you read, and it's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. So I'd like to recommend that book. It helped me a lot. But what we're going to go over today will kind of give you an idea of what stress is and how to deal with it. So stress you could define as internal friction. And let's talk a little bit about a car engine because it's kind of a simple analogy. So I like to drive stick shift. I have a stick shift Jeep. I've always driven stick shift vehicles. I really like to touch the engine. And if you've driven stick shift or other vehicles, you'll know that if you are in first gear, you can, and you're going like 20 miles an hour, the RPMs are really, really fast. So the engine is loud and it's moving quickly. Now, what happens if the engine's moving quickly and it runs out of lubrication, it runs out of oil? What happens? Talk to me, guys. I get lonely. It's really weird to be talking to a computer screen. What happens? You burn the engine. Yeah, you can seize the engine. I seized the engine in a Volkswagen Jetta when I was 18. I didn't know you have to check the oil. You can seize the engine. You have a problem. So if you run at high RPMs for a long period of time, what you see is that the system gets kind of torn apart or degraded because friction is the problem. So stress is an internal friction, but we need to define it even more because we need to be so clear, not just about what it is, but how we're creating it. So another way to understand stress, and I'm going to pull us over here to my blackboard and do a little drawing. Okay, so this is you. And it's before COVID, so you're really skinny. When you're still going to the. Oh, thank you, Gustavo. Yeah, I love flowers, so I kind of have a jungle in my house. So this is you before you went into COVID lockdown and gained extra weight, so we're nice and skinny. And guys, tell me, have you ever had your computer or your iPad or your phone when you have a ton of applications open? You have a lot of applications. Like if you're working on a Mac computer and you have a bunch of apps open, what does it do? What's that magical thing that the Mac will do? Who knows? Anybody? What happens if you have too many? You're running sound engineering, you're running a video thing. Yeah, the system won't respond, but what does it do? It gives you that rainbow spinny wheel. Yeah. So the rainbow spinny wheel, it freezes. Yeah, and we have all these applications open, and essentially, the random access memory of the computer can't handle it. So what's happening in you? Yeah, Katia. Katia is an amazing photographer in Peru, and she knows if you're working on computers, if you're doing any kind of editing stuff, you will see that sometimes you have too many applications open. So if we're going to do a visual image of this, yesterday we talked a lot about the mind field. So I'm just going to draw like this. Okay. So this is the field of mind of a stressed out person. All of these things are symbolic of open applications, or we can use another term which I find very useful, open cycles. Okay, so let's define an open cycle. That kid in your kindergarten class who was really mean and you still want to punch, you were 5, you still want to punch him 30 years later, open cycle. The emails you didn't send, the text message you have to reply, the closet you didn't clean out, the date that you want to go on, every single thing in your life that you haven't handled in a certain way ends up as an open cycle. And what happens is we wake up in the morning and we start thinking, oh, I gotta do this, and wait, I gotta go do this, I gotta handle this, and 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 all these things, I gotta get them done. And next week I have a meeting, and I gotta fly to this country, and I gotta do this, and I have to have this presentation done. I need to go to the gym, I need to text that person back, I need to write an email back, And so what we end up with is a field of our mind where we have so many things that we need to do that it's like we can't do anything. We just feel stress. And so what's happening here is that in your mental field, you have all these applications open and it's creating all this internal friction. Who's experienced something like this? I mean, especially in this day and age where we have like a million different apps that we're getting messages through. We're constantly on. Yeah, can you guys relate to this? Maja, or I'm not sure if it's Maja or Maya, or if I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, she says every day at work. Elena, totally. Katya's like, me. Yeah, so you feel this. I mean, this could be, Belin says you just drew my head. Yeah, I know. This is how I felt with my 3 companies, and I was overseeing artists and I'm overseeing models, and these are people that it's like herding cats. And so I didn't know I was stressed. Yeah, so this is what we can say is happening. The whole mind field is filled with this constant, I need to do this, I need to do this. William says, lying in bed, unable to sleep with all this swirling around. Exactly. Insomnia is a side effect. In my 20s, when I was suffering from stress, I would lay in bed and I would stare at I had a white wall across from my bed, and I would just stare at it. And all these things I was worried about would come up, and I'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? And I would just stress and stress and stress and not sleep. Anyone ever experienced stressing out and not being able to sleep? Never, Ray. I've never experienced that. Yeah. So today we're going to learn some simple methods. This is not just I'm going to try to cover everything I can in an hour. But I just want you to know there's deeper explanations that I won't be able to touch on in this. If you want that, join the upcoming course. But for today, let's get to a simple methodology of how to handle this. So this is stress. And just so you know, children are now stressed out. They are bombarded with so much noise, so much pressure, so much need to perform. Yeah. Children are stressed out now. I wasn't stressed out as a child, but even now we see this in children. And what's happening is that beings are having this constant input. And there's never a moment to shake it off, discharge, and be, unless you learn it. Making sense? Any questions about this before I continue on? So I want to give another analogy of stress, just so that we have this very well defined. Now I want you to imagine this, that you've never driven a car before. You don't even know what it is. You don't know what the steering wheel is or the tires or anything. But you're sitting in the driver's seat, and all of a sudden the car starts to move. How would you feel? How would you feel? Maja, I hope I have that right. Helpless. Elena says out of control, scared. What else? How would you feel? Nervous, worried, freaked out. Maya, okay, thank you for telling me. Yeah, I try to get everyone's names right, but I haven't met some people in person. Maya, thank you. I appreciate that. I was getting stressed out about it. Anxious, yes, anxious. So let's talk. That's exactly the word I was looking for, Elena. Thank you for saying it. So we have stress, and then we have stress with fear. Okay? So when we combine stress with fear, we get a very common state called anxiety. So stress is too many of these open cycles, too many applications open. And anxiety or fear is an inability to confront something. Okay? So we're afraid of what we can't look at. And I want you to think about this. I'm a martial artist, so I like to use a lot of martial arts analogies. If someone's attacking me and I am afraid, what do? I turn and I run. And if I turn and I run from an attacker, maybe I'll succeed in escaping. A lot of times not. So when we learn in martial arts, we learn to turn towards and to handle something, to actually confront. So whether it's confronting your inbox, your emails, whether it's confronting your laundry pile, what we see is that Fabiola, guys, you can see me. I don't know, Fabiola, why you can't see me. I think that the video is working. Can everyone see me? Melissa says, freaked out, but I get dead calm. Yeah. So when we combine too many open cycles with a fear of looking at life, you'll get anxiety. And I'm not going to treat anxiety today. We'll definitely address this in the course, and I think next Tuesday's lecture I'm going to touch on this subject a bit. Today I want to deal with just stress, but oftentimes stress and fear combine together and we get this state of anxiety, which I deal with a lot of teenagers nowadays who have anxiety. Yeah, it might be your phone. Fabiola, try logging in and logging back out, like rejoining might work. I don't know. The sound of my voice hopefully is soothing enough. Although you're missing all my cool arm movements, so that's a sad situation. But don't get stressed about it. So, all right. You're in that car. It starts to move. You start to feel nervous, afraid, stressed, anxious. And why is that? It's because you don't know how the machine works. Now, I want to tell you guys something very important. As a human being, you are an even more complicated machine than a car. You are very complicated. You are an amalgam. You're a composite of many different aspects. You have a physical body. That physical body has a lot of different systems that can be put out of whack easy. Yeah? You have an entire mind field. That mind field can become disturbed or focused, distracted, dull. It can be many, many different qualities. You have relationships, you have goals, you have dreams, you have your own individual self. You are complicated. So now imagine that instead of just putting you in a car and you don't know anything about it, that I give you a 6-month course on race car driving where you learn everything about how the machine works, how the wide tires that they use grip the road in a certain way, how the engine RPMs work perfectly, how every aspect of the steering wheel works with the entire machine. 6 months, you learn to drive not just a car, but a race car. Now, same situation, we put you into that car and the car starts moving. How do you feel? What do you do? What happens? You just went through a 6-month course. You can drive a race car. How do you feel? Sitting in the car starts moving. Annika says intrigued. Elena says relaxed. It just starts to move a little bit. I want to ask you a second question. Do you want it to go faster or not? Do you need to stop it? How would you feel? Car starts moving. Yeah. Annika says, yes, I wanted to go faster. Yeah, you're a race car driver. You know how that machine works. You want now to move faster. Yeah. Yeah. So when you know how the machine works, you want life to come at you. You're coming at life. It's like all of a sudden everything changes. Now, who's heard the this saying, "Oh, you're stressed out. You probably should go home and rest. It's too much. You need to remove some things." Who's heard this kind of idea of like, you're stressed, you need to go and rest and do less? Who's been told this advice? Because it's super, super common. Anybody ever heard that? You're stressed out, you need to relax, you need to take a vacation, you need to. Anyone heard that advice? Camila, all the time. Annika, sure. Katya, yes. Yeah, it's a lie. If you're stressed out, that's not what you need to do. Yeah, because people don't understand the mechanism. That's what I'm getting to when I show you how to resolve stress. Because what is the idea here? I'm stressed out, so I need to avoid things. Yeah? The moment that you get your inbox, you get your emails, and you're like, oh my God, I got to deal with it. It's too much. I need a vacation, I need a break. It actually is not what you think. We're taught in so much of like yoga culture is like, oh, you need to slow down, you need to become more mindful. It doesn't work. It will never work. Banlin says, if I go home and rest, I get more stressed about all I have to do. Are you reading my notes? Seriously, guys, this is cheating. You're logging into my computer, you're reading all the things I planned for today. I don't know what's up with you guys, you're reading my notes. Yeah, so how do we actually solve stress is the opposite of all the advice. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to solve stress, and then you face it, but we want to have a method. That's exactly it. So one of the ways when I have clients that come to me and they're super stressed out, I talk to them about all of this, and I show them, I call it the staycation. Instead of you have your weekend off, we're not going to go and run from life. We're actually going to handle some stuff. So I want you guys to go ahead and grab your notebook. Or you can use your phone, or I don't care. It's nice. I like to work a lot with the notebook. And we're going to make a list, and we're going to handle stress, and we're going to handle it very specifically. This is not like, we're not going to meditate it away. That's one way, but we want to get rid of the stress. So you're going to make a list. Now, if I say the word open cycle, an open cycle is something you haven't finished. So for instance, the closet needs to be cleaned out, the laundry done, the emails replied to. There's something that you're avoiding doing. Yeah, there's someone you need to call. You need to call on maybe you want financing for your business and you're putting off calling. Maybe you need to call your mom and tell her, listen, Mom, I need to talk to you about something. Maybe you need to send a message to that person when you were 5 years old that you still want to punch. These are all open cycles. They're unfinished things in your life. So I want you to make a list, and we'll start with 10 open cycles. And these open cycles don't have to be monumental or complicated. It could be, I need to wipe the counter in the kitchen. So a list of 1, just make 10 now, because we're going to see how to do it, and do it quickly. Don't overthink it. Be like, okay, I need to clean my bathroom. I need to get some mulch for the yard. I need to send emails. I need to write that marketing campaign. I need to get a new job. I need to break up with my spouse. I need to talk to my daughter about something. I need to talk to my father about something. I need to tell my friend something. I want you to make a list, and it can be anything. I need to change my career. It can be something huge and monumental, or something tiny. I want you to just make 10, and we'll see how to work with them. Make that list. Open cycles. I want to rearrange my home. I want to go to the gym more. I want to increase the amount of time I sleep, maybe. I want to take naps, but I never give myself permission. Every open cycle, everything that you think, just give me 10, and then we'll learn how to work with them. So that we don't have, this is kind of like Medusa here. I didn't realize I was drawing Medusa. So write down 1 through 10, make your list, and when you're done, just so that I feel like I'm in a live class and you all are with me, write in the chat done or yes or something like this. Done. Because like a ninja. I love you. I can't wait to send you all these goodies. Okay, done. Done. Guys, just be fast. Be like, okay, because I know you got more than 10, but just give 10. Thank you, Camila, Jackie, Annika, mi amor, Maya, I'm getting it right, Sam Rose. Hey, Lara. Oh my gosh, I got to send you some pictures. So Lara, who's in the call today, sold me these amazing butterfly peas, which she grew on her organic farm. And I made a bunch of bath bombs, and they're also going in the bath bombs. They are so beautiful. The color of these, just phenomenal. I love it. I'll send you a picture of the finished artwork from them. Done. All right, guys, when you're done, Gustavo, are you still there? Write to me, done. Oh my gosh. Lara, feel free to put your Instagram in the chat if you guys are in South Florida and you want to get access to an amazing organic farm. Talk to her. Viviana is done. Melissa's done. Gustavo, my friend in Brazil, we got Brazil in the house, is done. Make your list of 10, my loves. Even you, Rakesh, I know you're at work. He's like, oh, don't call me out, Ray. Rakesh is doctoring and still in the lecture. This is a good practice. All right. So now you're going to look at your list of 1 through 10, and we're going to follow some rules here, because I want you to understand that when we're beginning to deal with our open cycles, it's not that you have to get it all done at once, because that creates another tension. I have to get all my open cycles closed right now, creates another stress. So what we're going to do right now is learn how to allocate time spaces to each thing. So I run 2 companies. There is a lot of deliverables. I always joke with my partners and say, I dream of having no more homework. There's a day when all the homework is done and I'm like, wait, what do I have to do? It's gone. That's not a thing that's going to happen. Lara says, this is Lara of Blue Horizon Farm. Her Instagram is Earthling Farmer 11. She has the best butterfly peas I found. It's 5-flower butterfly peas, not 4. They are phenomenal. You can drink them. I'm using them to put in baths. Some of you are gonna be getting this for the next program. I'm sending it to you, Annika. You'll experience the butterfly peas when I mail your package to Croatia. So yeah, check her out. I really like to introduce you guys because everyone in this call is an amazing being. So it's important that you also know amazing beings and connect with them and support each other in your business. All right, so we want to work with things in time, and you're not going to like what I'm going to say. You're going to resist it a little bit right now, so I'm just warning you ahead of time. So I want you to look at the second thing on your list. The second thing on your list. The second thing on your list, you're going to not do for 4 days. You're not touching it. Hopefully it wasn't something like shave my legs. The second thing on your list, you're going to write, and you're going to commit to not do it for 4 days. And now you're thinking, what do you mean? I thought I had to get all the things done and close the cycles. Amy says, they are my favorite. Lara, you are the best. Yeah, the blue flowers are amazing. Yeah, Heidi's like, oh, no cleaning. Whatever number 2 is, you don't do it for 4 days. And you need to commit to this because we're learning to work with time. For instance, I have so many open cycles, there's no way I can do them in 1 day. So what I do is I make an agreement with myself when I'm going to do it, and I put it in my calendar and I do it, and I make this accurately. Oh, Annika, what was it? So number 2, you're going to commit not for 4 days. On day 4 you can do it, or day 5. The first one you're going to do today. Yeah, begin maybe it takes more than just a simple thing like folding the laundry. You're going to do the first one today. Now, the third one and the fourth one, what I want you to do is begin to write next to each thing in the list when you're going to do it. And I want you to be honest about it. So we're learning to commit and learn to work with time. Because what you will find here is that as you write out the open cycles and as you come to a time agreement with them, it's like, let me show you what happens with our little Medusa back here. So it's as if all of a sudden this open cycle and this open cycle goes away. And then this open cycle and this open cycle goes away. And it's not finishing it, gets rid of it, but committing to when you're going to finish it and keeping that gets rid of it. So all of a sudden, we start to experience this clearing of our stress closet. That's just a term that, I like to have fun words. So we're just going to clear the stress closet. Clear the stress closet. And bit by bit, by writing everything down and committing to when you're going to handle it, all of a sudden it's not active in your mind. But what matters here is that you learn to keep a commitment. That's why it's very important that you don't do number 2 for 4 days. And I apologize if number 2 was taking a shower. You're going to be very smelly. But it's important that you really commit to this. Does this make sense, my dears? Can you see how, yeah. Can you see how this will work? Rakesh says, love that. I find myself multitasking and trying to chip away at all of it at the same time. When I don't see significant progress, I end up dropping all of it and saying, I'll come back when I have more time. That's exactly the process, Rakesh, and you articulated that extremely well. I can't wait for you to start teaching your courses, by the way. I'm very excited for those. Rakesh is an amazing yogi and doctor. So this is exactly it. Lauren says, what if number 2 was something I probably will never do because it was about telling someone to piss off that I never got a chance to? Oh, my love, can I help you write that message? This is what I'm saying, is that if you need to tell somebody something, tell them. And I'm happy to jump on a call and show you how to confront people, and in a way that because what's happening, guys, you get your own word poisoning. You want to say something to someone, but you don't because you're afraid and all this stuff, and then you keep it here. Now you're keeping this word poisoning because you won't release it. What's the worst thing that can do? They won't be your friend. They won't talk to you. What's going to happen? Tell them, because we carry it with us, and it wakes us up at 2 a.m. Tell them. Hanging on to it's more painful than saying it, but there's a way to say it, and I'm really happy to have a call with you, Laura, and handle this, because this is a liberation. So if number 2 is I need to tell someone to take a flying fuck at the moon, let's learn how to do that, because there's an art form to this. And what happens the moment that you say that, first you discharge something you've been carrying, and you keep ruminating it and replaying it and all of this, which stresses you out. But the other thing that happens, which is, if you work with me, you'll see you put out space. All of a sudden, you become bigger. And you know what? That person can take it however they want. You're not responsible for how people feel. If any of you guys come to me and you tell me, Ray, you're a total asshole, you're the worst person ever, and all of this, I'll be like, oh, thank you for telling me. I decide how I take incoming information. Let's see. Elena says, but there are some open topics that cannot be resolved easy. Maybe is a big decision what to do with that. Elena, this is an excellent question. So let's look at this. Let's talk about decisions. So decisions, to not decide on something is a covert or a hidden method of deciding to not decide. So the thing with decisions is that we have this idea, there's all this pressure, like, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I make the wrong choice? And then we start to figure out what's the best thing. Guys, there aren't really right and wrong decisions in the way that you think. There's just decisions. And when you decide something and you move forward, it alleviates a lot. So in general, it's better to make a bad decision than no decision, because a no decision keeps you in a weird time-space bondage. So what I tell people with decisions is just begin to decide things without overthinking, and learn to decide things and don't worry as much about the outcome. The beautiful thing is you can make another decision later. But if you stay frozen in indecision, this can last forever. Better to just decide one way or the other than to stay stuck at an indecision. And this is something that you have to kind of confront. So when we get to decisions, this is a little bit moving into the fear aspect. It's a little bit away from the stress thing. But what you want to do is just decide. Should I move or not? You know what? At the end of the day, how you experience your next reality is also up to you. It's another decision. So we can stay frozen forever in indecision, or we can decide, okay, I'm going to move. And then you move and you go there like, oh, this place is awesome, or this place sucks. Guess what? You can move again. You're not getting out of this life with anything, with your body, with your mind, with anything you're attached to. So if we can just create that little tiny bit of space, okay, I'll make a decision here. Ooh, that worked out well. Ooh, that didn't work out. And have this kind of playful attitude. Nothing is important as we think it is. Yeah, but Elena, thank you for asking the question. It's the right question. Number 2 is a big decision for me. Just make a decision. Throw a dart at the wall. Roll the dice and then go with it. Say, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. Let me catch up. Camila says, my second name is Frozen. Haha, frozen since 2019. How do we liberate it? How do we decide and how do we move it forward? Because an indecision, stuck at an indecision, is always worse than just deciding. Because we suffer that indecision. We're like back and forth and back and forth. And when you back and forth, what happens is you collapse your space as a spiritual being that's all powerful. Throw out your space and make a decision. Melissa says, like a chess game, different moves for different situations. There are, like, we think our lives are so big and important, and we're suffering our imagination and our memory. You're suffering this. You're imagining, well, if I make this decision, this could happen. If I don't make the right decision, and what you find is if you can get to like a playfulness about it, you'll actually be able to make a really good decision or a really bad decision. And making a bad decision and then experiencing, oh, that was a bad decision. Okay, next thing. Totally fine. You don't have to punish yourself for your mistakes. I mean, you can, but you also can be like, oh, I really messed that up. Cool. Now I'll make this other choice. But if you stay stuck, it's like we say in business, fail fast. If I'm launching a new product and no one likes it, I want to know that quickly. William says allowing. Yeah, you see how these lectures all work together, William? So if you guys didn't catch the previous lectures, you'll get an email after this that has all of the different replays on a page. And this is exactly this. It's allowing. Allow yourself to have a good or a bad decision, a bad or a good one. And it's like a miracle how liberating it is. Just make a choice. Make another choice. Make a choice. Because we can get really stuck. But the beautiful thing, Elena, is that if it was number 2, you don't have to make the decision for 4 days. But on that 4th day, decide. Balin says, I never had issues in my life making decisions, and lately I'm stuck with a lot of those. Amazing how now I realize that this probably started happening around the same time I started being stressed. Yeah, it goes together. So when we get this too many applications open, it's like you're like, I like the computer analogy, the random access memory. It can't process stuff. So there's so many things coming at you that you're like, and all of a sudden you get this frozen, stuck, stressed out state. And you don't do anything. And you don't make a decision. You don't make any movement. And then the life goes down. Oh, Elena, then you got to decide today. Decide today. Write out all the possible options. Write them all out. Confront your failure. So guys, the secret to making decisions is confront the worst case scenario and then just be brave. She's like, shit. Just make a decision. Just decide. and then move forward. You will see that the moment you decide and you commit and you don't like give yourself, "Wah!" Just decide. Just go for it. Maybe you'll fall, but maybe you'll fly. We never know when we jump off the cliff. Will your wings spread and you fly? Or will you fall? Elena says, I will get the power from this whole group. Yeah, you have a sangha. You have a group here that supports you. Everyone here wants to do well in the world, wants to support others. This is a wonderful community we have. So keep that in your heart and your mind, and be brave, guys. We have to make decisions. To get stuck at an indecision is a decision to not decide, and it leaves you at a compressed state. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being honest with me. Katya says, lately it's taking me a lot to make decisions, even in very simple things. Yep, that's stress. You have too many open cycles. So when you have too many of these open cycles, write them all down. So if you can't sleep, I keep my I have like tons, I have all these notebooks over. It's like tons of notebooks around my home. I have one by my bedside. And if I'm going to bed and I'm like starting to think, oh, I need to send that email, I need to do this. And I start with this. I take my little notebook and I write it down. And I know it seems, you're like, oh, I knew this. You knew this. But I'm telling you, it's really simple, but it really works. Write it down, get it out of your mind. And when you write it down, put a time commitment. I'm going to do it at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to do it in 2 weeks. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it. And like really, and what you will see is that when you put it there, then you go to lay back down and you're like, now if more stuff comes up, pick up the book, write it down and put a time commitment. And when you put your time commitment there, mean it. If you have to change it, go back and change it in your notebook. Okay, 3 weeks is for this one. That's totally fine. But when you do that, you're keeping an integrity. And when you keep that integrity of your management of time and actions, this stress function won't exist anymore. You'll just do stuff and you'll actually feel really playful and really joyous. Being stuck at indecision, being stuck at stress is an awful state, and you don't need to be there. You don't need to suffer your imagination of what can be, your fear of loss, your past. You don't have to suffer it. This method of writing it down and putting a time commitment. So now with the next, that's Maya, you're reading. Guys, what's up with y'all reading my notes? So the next thing I want you to do is to make a time commitment on the rest of the 10. So we'll take a little moment now, look at it, and be honest. When are you going to do it? And don't feel a pressure here. Don't give yourself stressed out. If you need to do something on next Thursday, but you feel like I need to have it done soon, no. Put the actual time you're actually going to do it. And I like to arrange my life so I have some space in between events. So I have a moment for myself, a time for a snack, which isn't always there. So make your stress closet clearing in a way that you can enjoy your life. So just look at your thing and make an honest commitment. This is between you and you. I'm not going to check your notes. I'm not asking you to submit this. It's between you and you. Dig in, my loves. Finish off 3 through 10. And it can be, remember your list can be anything. And this is a method, so probably you have more than 10 things. So you can feel free after the call to write them down. Annika says done. Excellent. Yeah, let me know when you guys are done, because I don't want to continue talking while you're working. Excellent, Heidi. Fini. Thank you, Melissa. I like your sass in the communication. This is a universe of open cycles. There's unending things to do. What we're doing here is we're changing our relationship to these cycles of action. Thank you, William, Lara. Thank you, Heidi, Melissa, Annika. Thank you, Maya. And today's lecture, it's a very kind of simple subject. So I want to invite every single one of you to share this with other people. This is not mine. Thank you, Camila. I don't own this information. And it helps so many people. It helps children, it helps teenagers, it helps adults. So please feel free to take any part of this or the entire lecture and recreate it in your own words or use mine and share it to other people. This series of stuff is for the community. It's to help people. You're welcome to also share the recording when I send it to you with anybody. This is meant to make the world a better place. Lara says, I can't wait to share it with hubby and 25-year-old son. Yeah, be like, hey, here's a technique. And just so you guys know, you kind of have to define stress a little bit. And the thing is, if you don't define it well and you don't play up what stress is, people will think that the technique is too simple and they won't do it. It's a funny thing. That's why they like talking about it is important. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Gustavo, Bailin. Hope I'm saying everyone's names correctly. Elena, thank you so much. This is what I do because I've been hospitalized for stress. That's a big wake-up call for a yogi. I didn't even know. And this understanding of not just what stress is, like this internal friction, too many applications open, that's all well and good, but what do I do about it? We need a systematic and simple, cohesive approach to make this change, to clear out our stress closet. Melissa, it's a pleasure. I would do everything for free. I just have to, Pomeranian food is expensive, so I need to feed them. So I have to charge some money for things occasionally. So I appreciate those of you who support my product line and the programs that we do. And if you're interested in this, please write to me. I have a lot of really good things that you can join. Camila, thank you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the staycation concept that I introduced earlier. So what do I mean by this? I want you to have this kind of I call it like a billboard of life. Like you put these billboards in your mind. And so the billboard is like when you arrive at a certain internal dialogue, you need to know that this is the right action. So if you have the internal dialogue, I'm so stressed out in my life, I need to get away from my life, I need a vacation, then what you actually need is a staycation. And what I mean by this is let's say you have a regular work week where you work Monday through Friday, kind of 9 to 5, and then the weekends I don't know what you do. This is what I want you to do. Instead of taking a vacation, instead of escaping your life, I want you to take a stress reduction staycation. And what that means is you get everything done you possibly can. Like a crazy person, you say, okay, you have a bunch of coffee, whatever you need, yerba mate, and you make your list and you clear out the closet and you send the email and you clean the floor, every single thing in your space you've been putting off. You take a weekend and you just do this. And now I will tell you what will happen is you think about this. Don't worry about it. Just commit. I'm going to start Friday night. I'm going to start. Yeah. What will happen is that every single time you remove one of these things, you're going to feel a burst of energy and space. Now you think that you need to run from your life to get the energy. It's exactly the opposite. If you sit and you go and you just handle a whole bunch of shit, every time you handle something, you're going to get more energy. You're going to be like Friday night, you'll start with your process. You'll be up until 2, you'll be like, all of a sudden, I'm really inspired. I'm going to clean this thing and I'm going to handle this thing. It's amazing. You commit one weekend. You just get up, you get all your stuff done. When you finish this, you will see, first off, you have so much energy, so much space. And Monday morning when you return to your work, you have you will feel like you had a 3 week vacation in like the South Pacific eating like, mangoes and coconut. Because the issue was not that you needed to get away from your life, it was that you needed to close these Medusa head open cycles. And if you do that, if you take that, if you listen to me and don't make it a drama, you don't resist it, and you say, okay, Ray said, just have a little trust in me. Just I only need like a little bit. Say, okay, fine. Try to prove me wrong. Yeah? Try to do the thing I say and see if you don't get the result I say. Make your weekend, or I don't know what your schedules are like, pick a couple of days, chunk it out, and have I'm going to get my stress closet cleared out staycation. And watch. You will be like, when you finish it, you'll be like, I didn't know I could have so much energy and space. I do a lot of things, and I'm telling you the secret of how I do it, and I've failed. I've been hospitalized for this issue. I don't want that ever to happen again. So what I'm teaching you works. It will work, but you got to do it. Take your staycation, stay at home, drink some coffee, put on some music, do the things. Whatever the things for you are, do the things, and do it with like, that's my vacation. And then if I'm wrong about this, write me an email. Be like, I did it. I finished I closed a bunch of cycles. I cleared out my closet. I did my yard. I did all the things that were like sitting there that I hadn't handled, and I keep thinking about and putting them off. Do all those things. And then you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I'm totally fine. You tell me I'm wrong, I'll change my lectures. I feel like that's fair. I'm accountable. I'll be like, shit, it didn't work. I'll change it. Does this make sense to you guys? Yeah. Try it. Like, just go and like, like a lot of times I have these long days, and, throughout the day, like the dishes build up in the kitchen, and, all of this stuff. And I'll like look at it, and it'll be late at night, and I just want to get cozy in the bed, and I think, let's just do it. Let's just get the thing done. Instead of like creating a whole story around getting stuff done, let's just get it done and see what happens. And I just get it done. Maya says, how often do you do the list of 1 to 10 open cycles? I basically list every open cycle, and I give so 10 was just a number. You might need 25 or 40 or 100. I write everything down because I need my mind to be very clear. I run a chemistry lab. I run a high level courses. So I need to be super, super present time. So what I actually do is I write notebooks, and I put everything with a timing, and I keep and sometimes I use my calendar for this, and I'm really, really on it. Because if I don't, I fail my students, and I feel a big responsibility to be there for them. So I have to maintain my own stress hygiene really, really well. Otherwise, if I'm stressed out and I'm trying to teach you something that's going to change your life, but I'm worried about all this like Medusa head open cycles, I'm not going to do a very good job with you. And then I have I'm like, oh, I didn't do a very good job with that person. No. You write it down. And when you write it down and you commit to the time thing, you will see it comes out of your mind, and you're able to be really fully present with whatever you're doing. Does that make sense? Balin says, any advice if we fail to follow the plan, how to handle the failure feeling and avoid further blocking? Balin, that's an excellent question. All right. So if you fail, for instance, like you write down your stuff, and, number 5, you just don't do it. So there's a really beautiful technique for this. It's similar to the other day where you allow. It's called you greet the failure like an old friend. Because what do we normally do when we suspect that we're failing at something or we're not following through? Is we start to punish ourselves. Oh, you always fail. We do like language like this. You're always behind. You just need to report to yourself that you're always going to be. Start with this kind of monologue of like negating ourselves. And, whether you believe in God or the universe or spiritual energy or whatever your viewpoint is, I will tell you this. The fact that you are here means the Creator wants you to be here. So the Creator loves you. Whatever your viewpoint is on this, you exist. So why are you self-punishing? Why are you upset? Why are you harming yourself? Look, if I don't do something, you know what I do? I put it there. I say, supposed to do the laundry this weekend, but didn't. Hello. Supposed to do the laundry this weekend, but didn't. My old friend, you've been with me my whole life. And I go into a dialogue with the concept of the thing that I failed by. And I just make it my friend. Didn't do supposed to do push-ups, didn't do it. Needed to take the car to get the tire changed this week, didn't do it. Move it to next week. I just put a new date, but I don't make myself feel bad. So, I have to get my tire changed. It keeps getting these like slow leaks. I'm super busy, so that means I have to like make an appointment and go there and all of this. And so I have it on my calendar for this week, but I might have a student that I need to see. So that'll end up next week. Now I can be like, you didn't get your stuff done, and get really upset at myself, but it won't help me at all. So what I do is I make it fun. Like I'm greeting an old friend and I laugh about, needed to get the tire fixed. There you are. So there's no dissonance between me and the thing. Okay, well, let's make another date to get our tire done. And I make it fun and playful, and even one might say romantic. If you can have this kind of relationship with the things you consider your failures and your shortcomings, you will enjoy them, because this experience is so precious. But we spend so much of it judging ourselves, and you making yourself feel bad, and you naming all of your failures. But you could also make them your friends, because I promise you, and I work with super successful people I'm like in awe of their life, they have exactly the same issue. They never feel good about themselves. They feel like they're failing. It's never enough until you decide that you can love every single thing about you. Get into communication with the thing that you failed at. Make it your friend. I promised myself I would get that gym membership and I didn't. Well, hello, my companion, not getting a gym membership. What do we want to do about it? And it's a very funny thing. It's a funny little so see how I'm changing my inner monologue? This is what I do. I just change it, because I can go through life punishing myself, having a bad viewpoint on myself. But one of the beautiful things of my work and working with so many people is that I realize that no matter their success, their wealth, their failure, everyone has the same voice. And that voice does the same thing. It wants to report to you 100%. As much as you don't want to admit it to others, you're a failure. But that voice, it's not true. You can also change it just by saying, oh, hey, voice that wants to tell me I'm a failure. Great to see you, my old friend. You've been with me my whole life. What a great companion. So do you see that I'm actually getting in dialogue with all the things that would compress my space and making them my allies? And if you try this, you'll all of a sudden feel that, first off, that heart tension, that compression, that stress and that anxiety, it goes like this. And as it goes like this, with that lack of friction removes energy from a system. With that lack of internal friction, all of a sudden you're able to do a lot more without any stress and with a state of ease, or to actually rest when it's time to rest. Laura says, I'll have to not worry of my hubby and kids overhearing me talking about my failures. I guess it could help them to teach them these tips and tricks too. Absolutely. Children can pick this up super fast, first off. Hubby, I don't know. Hubbies are a little tough. I have one of those, as you met this week. Hubbies are a little tough, but your kids are sharp, and kids, they learn from what you do, not what you tell them to do. So if you were like, Mommy's going to talk to the things she's worried about right now, and you greet them like old friends, they will pick it up really fast, because kids are playful. They're not so solidified in their viewpoint on life. Kids can learn all of this fast. And in fact, if you had gotten this information young in life, you would see you took to it like this. It's adults who become complicated, because we think that we need to be continuously complicated when it's just very simple. Make your list. Make a decision on when you're going to do things. If you don't do something, have fun with it and communicate with it anyways. I didn't do my laundry. Well, is that what it is? Because if you create the internal friction of feeling bad all the time, you're not actually going to have a good life. So let's fix that. And what you will see is that as we fix this, as we ease this tension, as we create this space, a good life blossoms as a nature. Because what we're doing with these practices is like this. Everybody wants flowers, specifically the flowers Laura grows at her farm. They're amazing and bright blue. Everybody wants flowers. But if you talk about flowers and you think about flowers, you don't get flowers. If you want good flowers, you need to think about the soil and the water. And that's what we're doing here is these practices. This is how you nourish the soil. And you don't have to worry if you do these things and you create this inner relationship to all of your stuff. You're tending the soil, you're building this foundation, and out of that, whatever you plant will blossom because you're tending the soil, you're giving it the right water, the right nourishment. And that's what this is. Don't worry about the flowers, they'll come. Do these things with a good faith and stop with the inner monologue. Like whenever you're like putting yourself down, greet the putting down. Don't push it away. There you are, my friend that criticizes me all the time. You've been with me my whole life. Acknowledge it. But then you will see the moment that it's no longer you, because normally it's here and you're sure it's you. By greeting it as an old friend, it all of a sudden becomes something that's not you, that you can be in communication with, and you feel that you have a vast expanse of space and joy in your heart as opposed to stress. Does all of this make sense to you guys? Is it useful? Can you apply this? I'm trying to keep these like lectures short and like really like whoosh, let's dive in. Okay, Laura says it makes sense. Are there any questions on any of it? And as you can tell, I love questions. Like if you ask me a question, I'll go deeper into something. Annika's like, of course it makes sense. So my loves, we have a beautiful community. We have an international community of people that are doing amazing things. I want to start kind of a Facebook group for all of us or something where you can meet all of these amazing people. I'm not quite sure what the right answer is there because Facebook is a little bit squirrely. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, William. Thank you, Annika, Elena. I'm going to be on Annika's podcast in the next like 10 days. I'll send out an email. I'm talking about one of the hardest moments in my life, so a difficult time. So it's very honest and very personal. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Katya. Thank you, Heidi. Our next one of these courses is on Tuesday, same time. I love this time. I know it's hard for some people. If you're welcome to share this with people, invite people, and then of course they get the recording if they can't make it. What else to say? Oh, I have a course coming up. We start on Sunday. This course is in depth on all of these subjects, which is clearing out or detoxifying our mind, our body, our gut, our emotions, the whole removing what is not you. And it's a really great course. So if you're interested, write to me. Katya says, Rhea will be a grandmother. You remember Florence? She is my son's wife. Yes. I met her in one of your workshops in Peru and we became friends. I feel yes, I remember. They're living in Miami in a few weeks. Florencia, I know. I just saw her pictures. I need to write to her. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting. Thank you, Bailim. Yeah, guys, I love what I do, and this is for you to share. So share it in your own words. You're welcome to share the videos. Please write to me if you have any questions. Maya, you're really good in explaining. I've studied the art of teaching for 20 years. And also I like to have fun. That's the most important thing, is that you're joyous and you use simple analogies. I also teaching. So I do really love this, and my intention is for you guys to get this and take it with you, apply it, and live a stress-free life. So before I close out, I want to tell you that I have no stress. Not less stress. I'm not managing stress. I'm not teaching you how to manage your stress. I'm teaching you how to have no internal friction. And the moment you start to feel the tiniest bit, you should know what to do. Because you don't need to drive the car that way. You can be a race car driver, but you need a little bit of education on it. That's what I want to say. There's no need for stress. And I'm not talking about like the like I'm going to work out stress. I'm talking about that Medusa head, too many applications kind of stress that destroys your well-being. You can live without stress, but you have to confront things in a certain way. I'm not teaching you stress management. I'm teaching you to feel great. Because you can do all the same things without any stress. Annika says, I'm so happy to hear that it's possible. Yeah, do exactly what I said, and you'll be like, wait, where'd my stress go? I have no stress, and I haven't for years. Long time. Unless I feel like creating it, we can always like wind up a little bit. Belen, much love, strength for all this group. We're going to kill this stress monster. Exactly. So I call this spirit arms. It's like a gesture I love to make to like uplift. So try it. You will see it opens your heart, opens your lungs. One of my favorite postures. How can we register this detox course for Sunday? I will give you that link. I should have had it ready. Thank you for asking. I'm kind of a little bit terrible at self-promotion, apparently. Here it is. I'll put it in the chat. You can read all about it there. And it also, I put all the replays of the workshops on this page. And if you guys grab this link, I'll put today's workshop up on this page. And if you have any questions about this, it also comes with all these products. So I send you a box, 3 boxes. You get one each month of everything you need. You get a whole consultation on what you need for your gut, your skin, your scalp, and everything. And then I send it to you. So it's really, really in-depth. It's a huge commitment, and I love it. So we begin Sunday. Of course, anyone that's interested, we can start the next week as well, but it'll be live. Sanja, thank you so much. Thank you, Maya, Amy, Annika, Balin, Camila, Elena, Gustavo, my friend forever, Heidi, Katia, Lara, Maya, Sam, Sanja, I hope I say that right, Viviana, William, I love you guys. Have a completely blessed Thursday, and I'll see you guys Tuesday or Sunday if you're in the course. Write to me if you have any questions. I love you.